Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. Welcome to my allotment vlog. This is the third week in February. It's winter's quickly coming to an end. After the cold snap we've had, it's actually quite warm and pleasant on the allotment, and I'm so excited. There's a lot of stuff to catch up on, but I think we're getting there and we're almost ready for spring. So make sure you have a cup of tea ready and let's dive in. Would you look at that? It's actually a blue sky. Can you believe it? So it's Monday and I've come home for a late lunch to sort out the dog and whatnot. I'm finally out of my isolation and it's just wonderful to be outside. So I have not had time, I don't know why I haven't had time, but I have not had time to pot up my loofah seeds. I think they started germinating like 3 days after I did the clip and the wet paper towel thing, so yeah. So, and I could not sit inside to do this, so I've come outside. It's 12 degrees. I hope I don't kill off the seeds, but the compost has been inside my house, so that's warm enough. And yeah, there was one slight difference between the speed of the germination between the two seed packets, but they've all germinated. So now I have 6 germinating seeds, and I'll put them all up and I'll see if I can give them away to people who might want to grow them as well. So we'll see. Yeah, all seeds, all germinating seeds are precious, so yeah, I don't want to waste them. So first of all, let's have a look at how the seeds have been doing. So I've got the first lot here, and yeah, so they have started to form roots. Can you see this? Yeah, these fine little... So I don't think that's not from the paper, that's the roots that they're forming, which means that, yeah, I'm definitely a bit late in planting these up, and I hope that this yellowing of this root doesn't mean that it's dying. But yeah, so I'll get these in as soon as possible, basically. So I'm gonna grow them in these pots to start with, and then we'll pot them on. So I'll do one seed packet in black and the other in whatever colour is, orange, brown, whatever. Okay, so I just used my usual seed mix, which is the usual seedling mix, and seed mix is just general compost mix with 10% to 20% vermiculite or perlite. I've got a massive bag of vermiculite last time, so that's what I've been using, and it just helps both with drainage and water retention somehow. Well, yeah. Oh, it's a stone. But yeah, so that's should be good for the loofahs. Right, so I'll make a hole. I've very lightly packed these now, so they won't damage the roots. And yeah, which way's down, do you reckon? Like that? Or like sideways? Probably sideways, right? Let's go sideways. I'm sure it'll sort itself out though. Oh, that's maybe a bit too deep. Well, we'll firm it in. And then, yeah, let's make it less deep. Alright, here we go. Seeds are pretty good at finding which way's up. They somehow know, don't they, where the sun is. Woo! So I think these seeds were from Sea Spring Seeds, so I'll just make a label for them. Right, so that's one lot of loofah. I'll water them with lukewarm water inside, so this cold shock they've had from coming outside is not going to be too damaging. And then I'll pop them under the grow light for the chilies, I think. And then we'll see if they pop up, hopefully soon, seeing that they're already growing. Yeah, I hope I haven't killed them by not putting them on. Right, let's go on with the next one. Right, that's the first job done, all the loofah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for these. Yeah, as I said, I hope I haven't ruined them by not planting them up sooner. But so the next job for the day is to prick out my Calabrese. So these are part of the Grow Along for Life that I run through my website and through my mailing list. So these were sown the 30th of January, and after a few days they popped up and have been living in the greenhouse since then. So they have survived totally fine in the greenhouse that went down to minus 6.7 at the lowest, and it just goes to show how robust these kind of seedlings are. They haven't grown much, but that's the way I like it, right? So I sowed them a bit early just to be ahead of the game a bit, because I'm doing the grow along, so I want to send out, you know, informative emails before people get to that stage. So being isolated obviously threw a bit of a spanner in the works, but hey ho. But they haven't outgrown. This is the stage I like to prick them out at, and as you can see, they have not grown very leggy at all, and that's good. So I'm gonna prick all these out and pop them on, and we'll see how they go from there. So this, in my opinion, is a perfect size for pricking out. The aim is to bury the stem as much as possible, and it's not much stem here, but sometimes brassicas, especially if it's warm in the greenhouse, they will grow quite long before you are ready to prick them out. But this length root is pretty good, so I would say, as opposed to sowing them in June, when the root might be half this length and the stem will be 3 times as long, this is what happens when you grow them through the cold, right? They develop the roots rather than grow tall. So this is preferable in my opinion. So I'm gonna lay them out flat and sort them out. So I know that everyone says, all the books, everything says to handle them by the leaf. And yes, this is great advice if you are exceptionally cack-handed or clumsy. But with experience, you will be able to support them by the stem and sort them out. You know not to put too much pressure on, you know not to pull, not to push, holding the stem, because then you risk breaking it. So don't be afraid to try it if you feel confident. And, you know, it's not the end of the world if you lose a seedling. So this module tray that I'm using is maybe a little bit too big for these seedlings, but it's totally fine. You could go smaller. It's got room for 10 and I have 11 seedlings, so this one is looking a bit ropey, so I'm gonna probably skip that one. And what you want to do, if I can zoom you in, is just make a hole with the dibber. And you take your seedling and you put it in, and you want to have it as deep as possible, but to avoid dampening off issues, it's advisable to move the compost away from the leaves if you can, like that. And the positives with doing it at this size is the speed of it. And because it hasn't started branching out on the roots, it is much less damage to the root as you do it, meaning that there's less damage to the seedling. There's means then a knock-on effect that the transplant shock won't be as bad, and they will just continue growing as if nothing had happened. If you wait until they have a proper branched out root system, partly you risk damaging them getting them out of their original pot, and then you damage them again when you firm them in. So it's partly super quick doing it this size, and secondly they seem to be doing much better, so it's a win-win for me. So when you grow them like this in a seed tray or for pricking out, brassicas do really well because you get this opportunity to replant them deep, meaning that the legginess that you might otherwise see is not going to be there, which means that there'll be a sturdier plant that can root better once it's planted out, and overall plant health is improved. So at every stage, plant as deep as possible, and that's true for all seedlings, I would say. But particularly brassicas, they have a tendency to become super leggy, especially if you grow them inside your house. So that's it. The Grow Along for Life seedlings have been pricked out, and they're just sitting in the water bath for now, just to soak up some of that, and I don't need to water them for a good while, I think, unless we get really sunny weather, which, looking at the prognosis, is not going to be like that. So I think I'm going to record a quick little video just talking about what flowers I'm planning on growing for the allotment this year. It's a bit new to me, growing flowers, but I have vastly increased my seed collection for this year. So I just had a quick go through and just see what I need to sow now, February, March, and then another pile for later, maybe April, and then I have another pile that is for sowing direct, like for example poppies and things like that. So the stuff I need to sow now in modules in the greenhouse, I've put in one pile, so I've just made a little quick video about that. I'm inside my house again. It's Tuesday and I've just finished work, so I thought I would get some more seeds sown. So these are some specific ones which are maybe a little bit unusual, so they're not the usual stuff I sow. So I haven't started my massive seed sowing session for February yet. I think I will leave that to the weekend. So I'm just trying to get these little bits out of the way, so then I can just concentrate on getting all the vegetables sown come Sunday probably. And yeah, let's just get into it, hey? Just a quick update on the sweet potato. Nothing yet. Nothing yet in the glass either. And yeah, I need to change the water. Should be changed once a week. And nothing on the ginger yet, so yeah, the dog's just lying here being all funny. Huh? You being all funny? Hmm? Hiya. You want to go outside? Yeah, we will. We will. Soon. Soon, babes. Soon. And outside the window, I've got some bluebells in a pot because it's due north there. And then I have the second bud on my amaryllis is coming up. And a Christmas rose, which flowered beautifully this year. So up here are the chilies and aubergines, and they're doing really well, especially the aubergines, and I really need to repot those, I think. And the loofah, they're just sitting up there, haven't popped up yet. But yeah, I'm hopeful. So the things I want to get on and sow are the house tomato, which grows in a pot on your windowsill. So this is the only one I would really start this early, but because it's not going to outgrow its position, it should be fine because it's like super dwarf, right? It only gets to 1 foot tall. And then I have this geranium, which I think I should have sown earlier, but I thought I might as well just try to get them going. It's quite an old packet of seeds. And then I have this one, the Himalayan Poppy. Yeah, so this one is slightly odd. So you have to sow it in a pot and put it on the windowsill. You should not cover the seeds, and then after 2 weeks you put the whole thing inside the fridge and wait for them to germinate in there. Okay, so first 2 weeks on the windowsill and then 2 weeks in the fridge, and then they should hopefully germinate. So I have a shady bit in the garden which I hope would work, and it's quite wet, so I'm thinking that should be alright for these, but we'll see. I might just grow them in pots if not. And I thought the best bet would be to raise them from seed, because then they might be a bit stronger, but that might be wrong. But yeah, so these are maybe not so allotment related, but still growing related, right? So I'm pretty excited to be growing many more flowers this year. I'm sorry, I got my washing machine running. Multitasking. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it will just bring in a lot of flowers. I'm just about to place an order for dahlia tubers as well, and I mean the choice is just overwhelming, isn't it? But yeah, let me know if you've ever grown these Himalayan poppies from seed or bought plants, and what your experience has been, what to think about, because they're quite a tricky one, and yeah, we'll see how we go. And yeah, but I'm pretty excited specifically about the little tomatoes, because by all accounts I should be getting small little cherry tomato harvests quite soon. They might not have the best flavor, but they should you know, taste better than anything you buy in the shop basically, so it's worth growing for that reason. Just to have that early crop of tomatoes, and before your main tomato crop comes in that you're growing in your greenhouse or on your plot. I'm gonna grow a lot of my tomatoes in the back garden as well, because I have so many tomato varieties I want to grow, and it's a bit of a sun trap back here. So yeah, it's facing due south, so I have shade at the back where the shed is for the Himalayan poppies, and then full sun by the house, which will be perfect for the tomatoes. So I think that will work well. Okay, so you remember I said no action yet on the sweet potato? I lied, I hadn't actually checked today. And there's actually... let's see, okay, I don't know, can you see that? No. Right, let's see if we can get this. There it is. Ah, can you see it? It's too sunny. Alright, I'm gonna have to turn the camera around and show you. Right, there, can you see it? There it is! The first root started! That's so exciting! Excellent. Okay, so I just checked how to grow these geraniums, hardy geranium, samabor, or dark cranespill or purple cranespill or something like that. Can't remember now. So they can take months to germinate, which is just great. But apparently you can leave them in the greenhouse to germinate, so I might do that. Yeah, I mean, maybe leave them in the house. It did say between 5 and 10 degrees to germinate, so let's follow the instructions. And yeah, so they're quite large seeds, so you can position sow them in the tray. So I'll do that. I'll get quite a large tray and I'll sow them all, because they're quite old now, so in case not all of them germinate. But it's a beautiful hardy geranium actually, and it can tolerate dapple shade or shade, so that's where I plan to grow it in the garden basically. I have no shade on the plot, so I couldn't grow these. Maybe right next to the beehive potentially, because that one's in slightly shaded area for the bees, so maybe there. Yeah, that's a good idea actually. So if I get enough I can put them there as well. That's exciting. But yeah, so I'm gonna sow these and then I'm gonna go out to the plot. How exciting! So it's actually sunny today, but still quite cold because of the wind. so it's becoming a little bit problematic to film as well, but I'm holding the microphone inside the greenhouse, so it should be audible. So I've got quite a lot to do, as always, but I thought what I need to get on with is to sort out the base for the greenhouse. So it's all been dug. I had some help from my partner who came and helped me to dig down the trench for the timber, so that's in place now and it's level-ish. But what I need to do is to just bolt together the metal frame and check that that's square, and then I'm hoping by the next vlog or during the next vlog it'll get erected and be ready to use, basically. So I have held off sowing most of my veg seeds, right, until this coming weekend, because I didn't want to not have any space, and it doesn't really matter so much now in spring. Seeds will always catch up, won't they, at this time of year. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna try to do today, though my hands are already freezing and it's quite a fine work you have to do now, right, with the bolts and everything. I think I know where the bag of bolts are. It's quite a crucial piece of the puzzle, but yeah, I think I'm gonna look for it, and I also need to then locate the spanners that fit. Yeah, so I think I also might have made an error because a lot of the bolts kind of sheared, the nuts and bolts sheared when we took it down. I don't know where this airplane's coming from. Anyway, I think some of them sheared when we took it down, and I forgot all about it. But now obviously I remembered, and now I'm thinking, do we have enough nuts and bolts? So I'm gonna have to measure them up and place an order. I found somewhere where you just have to know what size you need and then they can ship them to you, so I might have to do that. But yeah, so I'm gonna first try to find the nuts and bolts, and then I'm gonna try and put that frame together. So you can, I'm probably gonna insert the footage here, so you probably already watched me do it, hopefully. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I managed to get that actually. I am missing a few bolts there, so it's hard to stabilize it enough to make sure that it's actually square. But yeah, we'll get there. I think if I order a few of those bolts, I need to measure the length of them, I think. Yeah. So looking around the greenhouse, it looks like we actually need to water, because some things are drooping quite a lot. So I'm gonna have to clear some space so I can actually water here, and yeah, can you believe it? Right, so I thought one last thing I need to do before I go inside is to pot up my Taunton Dean seedling. So this is a perennial kale, and it doesn't flower, like, so it doesn't set seed. And I had it sent to me. Sorry, it's very hard to. I got it sent to me by a lovely lady, Angela, on plot 26A on Instagram, the mother of My Month on the Plot, if you're ever joining that. But yeah, so it has finally started rooting here and down here, and it's grown quite a lot of leaves since I got it. I think it only had 2 leaves, small leaves, when I got it in the post. But yes, seeing as I found my rooting powder when I was looking for the nuts and bolts, I thought I might as well get this up now. Sorry, it's just quite windy. I thought I'd pot this up because you can sort of see that it's a bit flappy. It's basically been sitting in the south facing window, and I think it's just too hot for it. You know, kale brassicas, they like the cold really. So yeah, I thought I'd pot it up now and then it's done. So while the Tonton sits in a water bath, I remembered I still have to prune my apple and pear tree that I dug up a few weeks ago for making space for the greenhouse. So they're just in grow bags now. So they're on extremely dwarfing rootstock, and they're something called columnar trees. I think I called them cordons in my video, but they're actually column trees, which means that you don't train them against wires. Well, you can do, which is maybe why they haven't done so well. They haven't had enough support, but they're basically just an upright spear, and fruit comes off short spurs. And the pruning of them is really simple, though I didn't do any last winter, which might have been a mistake, but now is the right time to prune most apples and pears. Anything else, anything with a stone in it, any fruit tree with a stone in the fruit, leave it alone, like plums, apricots, anything like that, because disease will get into the cuts and it's just not a good idea. So what I need to do now is to cut back the spurs that have grown. They've grown more than 20 centimeters, some of them, and they need to be cut back between 5 to 15 centimeters. So I'll do that now, and that'll tidy them up, and then I can just forget about them until next year. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you what they look like. They're very, very simple looking trees, and I am thinking now I'm gonna put them to grow in the garden, because it's probably too windy for a tree like that here, I'd say. It's probably why they haven't done so well. They did have support to stop the windrock, but yeah, it's just a little bit exposed, so I think they'll do well in the garden, maybe even in pots or just in the beds, we'll see. Yeah, that felt good. Got quite a few jobs done this week. It's been so nice to get back on the plot and, you know, leave my house. It's such a tiny house, it's just really not possible to do much, and I feel like I've actually lost fitness from just like not moving, you know, sitting too much and whatnot. So I've taken it a bit easy this week and just got little jobs done, but the big ones are still waiting for me. The mulching, the moving of the compost, the manure and all that stuff, so that's still to come. But I'm hoping this weekend I'll get quite a lot done this coming weekend, and that can go into the next end of February vlog. Can you believe it? But yes, thank you very much if you watched this far. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it, and if you're new, consider subscribing. It all really helps. Now though, the sun is starting to head down over the trees over there. It's just a final few rays, but it's completely lost its warmth now, so it's time for me to go inside and warm up my hands. But yes, have a great week, and I'll see you next Friday.